abdominal muscles at all.
Anyways.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, that first video game sucked, dude.
it actually does.
Yeah. It just...
Though back then, people were literally like starved and stricken of like actual dopamine that wasn't coming from, I don't know, eating food,
Adrenaline rushes, you know?
and
Like,
like
fucking
jumping
almost
off of
dying.
bridges. Yeah, because like there was literally nothing to do back then.
There was nothing to do.
There was nothing to do.
Now there's nothing to do now.
There's a lot to do. It's just that people
I'd rather
don't
go
have
outside,
access
to
to
be
it.
honest.
Like going outside is cool, but like imagine if your entire life was just walking.
Walking and
Honestly,
reading.
I'd take that over
Walking and
sitting
reading.
on a chair playing this one game or whatever.
Okay, one game. I want both. Best of both worlds.
I mean, yeah, but I prefer going out with my friends than just sitting on a screen.
that why you took me
I'm
to
not gonna
Dave's
lie,
Hot
I
Chicken?
do
That is
too.
exactly why I
Going out and doing stuff, and the good thing about going out and doing stuff is there's more to do now outside than there was back then.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I feel like it was more free back then,
yeah,
and you could do a lot more and get away with it. You know?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, most early games were pretty bad.
Yeah.
Like really bad.
I have an Atari and I have all those games. They're all so boring compared to what we have now.
Yeah, and even then, the thing about games like that is it sounds like whining, but it makes sense. It just drops you in, and you have no idea what the controls are or anything. You have to figure out anything
Everything.
and everything about the whole game. So like,
And you don't really know what's going on.
Yeah,
Sometimes
yeah,
You got like,
like,
4
you have no
pixels for a
idea.
dude.
exactly, you have 4 pixels for a
I mean,
dude.
but like, hey, back in the day, that was probably the shit though.
it
Yeah, it definitely was because it was new and like
yeah, because it was new and there was nothing else like
yeah,
it.
there was nothing else like it.
Arcades existed.
I mean,
Yeah, there was
existed,
arcades,
but the
yeah.
games there even weren't
But there was only Pong. That was it.
at like a certain point.
Yeah, at a
like,
certain
like
point.
for example, like
I think just like the
80s,
early
90s.
'60s was just like Pong.
Yeah, like that was
Until-
like the era of gaming where there was just nothing,
Yeah, until the '70s where arcades were like next
Getting
to like
bigger. like really big.
pinball machines, just like like just the classic. I mean, I guess they did have some stuff to do back in the day because they have like the mechanical like
Oh yeah,
like that
it
that
was,
stuff.
it was more mechanical.
Yeah,
stuff
instead
than
of
it
like
was-
digital,
like
because
Peter's
like
ball.
Yeah,
Pool.
like stuff like that.
I guess they had
Pool is absolutely classic.
Never played it.
classic.
I have played it once in Vegas with my sister.
Never
Most
played it.
fun
Don't know how to
time
play it. I
I've
suck
had.
at it. I think I tried it once. I said,
I suck at
honestly, I love playing pool, but I just don't know how to play it. I know how to play, but it's so hard to hit the ball.
Exactly. And my sister taught me, and it's not too hard.
But have you guys seen like 8-ball tournaments? Whoever literally starts always wins pretty much because they're
Oh,
not
yeah.
gonna miss. They've been doing it for so long. They're not
Exactly.
You guys ever play nine?
Arcade machines were kind of lit.
They were kind of
Like,
like, it's cool looking at
I'm
them.
talking about like when like stuff like Street Fighter was on, you know?
Oh,
Street
like Mike
Fighter-
Tyson Punch
yeah.
Out, like
Yeah,
stuff like that.
Like the cool arcade.
Okay, yeah.
But like
see,
that
now
was like
that's
later
what's-
on. That was like
Yeah,
the '90s.
that was, but like, you can't lie, those were
Those
better.
are
Yeah.
definitely
Than
much
whatever.
better.
I think
Consoles
like
are
cause like during the like early like no the late '80s like arcades were kind of dying out a little bit.
because
and
then game consoles were about
Yeah, game
to
consoles
explode.
were yeah. And because Atari and Sega were also doing
Oh,
stuff
yeah.
too. But and then too Street Fighter 2 came out, and then that's when arcades got revived again because instead of like the points, because usually like when like it was competitive gaming, it was like most points. But like Street Fighter 2 was just like competitive, like you get to play against another person, see how many times you win.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
That's
So
how
like
it was.
stuff like Donkey Kong, all points based, like Galaga.
yeah,
Yeah.
like stuff
And this is
switched
just like a
from points
1v1.
to
Yeah, it's just a
fun.
1v1.
Yeah,
It is
you're
competitive.
going against an actual person who's got skills and knows how to like, counter your stuff.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
how it was.
It's not all algorithm.
And that's kind of what revived it in the '90s.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
it kind of died out again.
Yeah,
because
it-
consoles exploded big in the 90s.
Yeah.
And that's when all of that competitive gaming sort of thing.
And then the
points just sort
PlayStation
of
came
fell off.
out and it was over.
Yep.
It was literally just it was game over.
It was
dude.
over for everybody.
Yeah, like that was like when that first PlayStation came out. That even my dad explained it because he's always been into games. That
Nice.
was the turning point that flipped everything,
Everything.
on its head. Cause like
It was such a big switch.
yeah,
It
Really?
is because it's like it's small compact and yet you got like the
All
best
these games.
graphics
you get the best
you've ever
graphics.
seen.
You have so many games you can play in
Yeah.
one place.
Yeah, you don't
Like,
you don't have to
that-
leave your
Exactly.
house.
I
You
know.
don't have to leave your house.
You have to go out
plug
there
it in, and you grab a cartridge. You go, you slam it in there, and you just play.
Yes.
Cartridge for the PlayStation.
Wait,
It was a
I think
DVD.
yeah,
That
it was like a.
DVD. 'Cause
You
that
just
was
you
like-
just flip it open and you just boom.
Yeah, it was just like the first one.
Yeah, the cartridge was the Nintendo stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the Atari stuff, and then it switched to that.
And then they had the Game Boy, and then that's it.
Yeah,
Honestly, I fuck with the Game Boy.
it's pretty classic.
I think it was like one of the best selling like
Nintendo,
Oh,
the
especially-
DS.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
true.
DS
I
like
guess that was the
best
birth of like handheld stuff.
Yeah, it was
Because-
definitely. Well, actually,
That was like the
look-
birth of mobile kind
Mobile
of
Yeah,
gaming.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think the first one, like kind of like a DS, was this thing called the Game Watch.
Game Watch.
Yeah, it was like
I think you were showing me that.
yeah. I showed you an image. It looked like a DS. It looked exactly like a DS, and
Looks like it was made out of cardboard.
yeah, because apparently I don't know, I forgot the dude's name, but he was like a Japanese dude who saw a businessman playing with a calculator in a train, and he was like, "That is a good idea," and decided
Awesome
to
idea.
and he decided to
Wow.
make it, and then the Game Boy.
He was like Richard.
All right.
So I just figured out this new game called Calculator. So first you pick your
Calculator.
character. I pick in the
Number one.
I picked number 1. I picked number 2.
He did divide by 0 and exploded.
But Atari was like a big thing back in the day.
It
They
was.
made all the games, especially E.T., the worst game ever.
E.T.
E.T. They made a game called E.T. It was for Christmas, and
Crisp.
yeah, it was for
Christmas?
Christmas. Yeah, and what's it called? Like the developer, like he didn't really have time to make it.
Oh,
So-
he was on a time crunch.
Yeah. So then, like,
I think that's a big issue with all games now.
Yeah, it really is.
It's all
I
time
learned
crunch.
all of how games really worked when Cyberpunk came out.
oh yeah, dude, that
Because
was so bad.
I learned how it actually works. I used to think as a kid that it was the developers and it was mostly up to them. It wasn't. It is not them. All they
And,
do is make the game. That is it. That is it. But
They're
the thing
always
is,
on a
they
time crunch.
exactly,
They
and
always-
they
always
still
time.
have to follow a blueprint.
Yeah.
They don't even really get to decide all that much.
Yeah, they gotta figure out. There's concept, right? There's the whole concept, right? Oh, you gotta make this character in 3D. He's got to do all this cool stuff. You
Yep.
gotta make these bosses are also way
All
bigger.
this,
all
do all
that.
this stuff,
And on
and then
top
you gotta
of that,
add. You gotta add puzzles. You gotta do this. You gotta do that.
Yeah, you
and
gotta
all
do
gotta make
everything.
it cohesive.
you
It's
gotta
all-
put
it's
it
all-
into this
yeah.
computer.
And then
Yep.
you gotta put it into a computer.
and then you also have to test for bugs.
Yes.
And then, yeah,
And-
you also have
and
to
you-
test for
you
bugs.
gotta
You
hire
have to
people to
replay
test for
it.
them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and you like you have to rerun everything 400,000
And if someone messes up,
times.
you gotta go back and fix it and do all that coding again.
Do you know for Batman Arkham Knight, they had to make a separate like player thing for the cape?
Really?
Yeah, because the cape, like
Oh,
it took
I guess
so
because
much
of the
time
physics.
to get the
Yeah,
physics
I
right.
remember
Oh.
because when I played Batman Arkham Knight, I looked at the cape and I was like, "Yo, that's pretty crazy."
The physics were all messed up. They had to go through it so many times.
kept glitching into
had
the
to-
character?
Yeah, they had
Yeah.
to, they had to keep making. They had to redo it over and over again because it kept flipping around. They had to get the physics just right. So what they did was they like made it its own entity,
Mm.
right? So whichever way you're going,
If I was
that's what it does, right? It does the whole everything. It's all physics based. But that also created another issue, which was speedrunners can glitch through maps and glitch through levels, so they had to fix it again.
yeah.
But when they tried to fix it, it ruined the game even more because
Yeah.
now
Yeah,
there was
and
T-posing
that's the loop
back
that
then.
every developer
Yeah.
talks about. You fix one issue, 14 more
Yeah.
pop out of the wall.
yeah,
Yes,
dude.
that's I think
Yeah.
would suck to be a video game developer.
Exactly. And people outside of the developing world don't understand it, and they don't give them the time of day to realize.
They don't give
hey,
them
it's
the,
hard.
Yeah, it's really,
It's really hard.
hard.
When I saw Cyberpunk come out, and I learned that, for example, what happened there is the marketing team screwed them over.
How?
Really?
Okay, so here's how it worked in the beginning. Marketing is what puts the game out. Publishing is just what puts the game on the services.
Yeah.
So think of publishing team, that's who puts it on Steam. That's who puts it on PlayStation, console, stuff like that, right? The marketing team is who gets the game out there knowledge-wise.
Right.
And here's the thing.
It's the ones that makes people want to play the game.
Yeah.
Exactly. So they released a trailer 10 years before the game came out.
Oh.
It was literally just an idea at the point. It was
Low-key.
just an idea.
Here's the thing. That's kind of what happened with the new Wolverine game that's supposed to come out.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't even hear about
We-
that. What the
I
heck?
haven't
Yeah,
heard about it either.
Because dude, the trailer dropped for it like it wasn't even a trailer. It was like a teaser.
Yep.
It dropped like 5 years ago.
Oh.
It dropped in like 2020, 2021, something like that. We've got no news since then. But you know what happened? That I think delayed it. There are these people, the leakers, who leaked the entire game. So you know what Insomniac said? fuck you guys, we're starting over.
You know what?
That's
That's
the
good.
same thing that happened in
And
GTA
that's-
6, by the way.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because the leaguers kept doing it. Like, this is what happens with the marketing team. The marketing team is so ready to push the game out.
Who had-
They
and-
throw it
yeah.
out there, but they don't think about what the people are actually going to do. When you rile up the people, you know, the people who are going to be buying your game, that is messing with how your money is going to work. That like you want to make money in the end.
Yeah.
Like, that's what happened with Cyberpunk, because it got everybody so excited over this game because it was
It was
something.
gonna be revolutionary,
It's,
right?
it's gonna be
Yeah.
revolutionary,
Crazy.
and it was so cool. The trailer was all this and all that, right? But the game was just an idea. They had no idea how they were going to do anything. So this built hype up for 10 years. And on top of that,
10
right,
years,
the
that's
publishing
crazy.
team was like, hey, this game better be out by this date. And the developing team was like, we are working as fast as we can. We can't do it. And they're like, hey, delay the game. Hey, delay the game. But
And
the,
then
pub-
that
and the
just
marketing and
annoys
the publishing
like
team,
the actual people who are waiting for this game to drop. Like
Exactly.
GTA 6.
on top of
Like
that,
us.
yeah.
Yeah, because GTA 6 was supposed to come out this month.
Yeah, this
May
year.
16th, this month. Got pushed back to next year.
I guess
Yeah.
so.
I don't like that. But, not their fault.
Yeah. I'm not
GTA
gonna
6 has
lie.
been hyped for so long, and
I think it deserves to have its own time, especially
Right,
like
the thing is, they had to restart because of the leakers. Like, they leaked pretty much everything. They're like, you know what? We're not going to deal with this. You guys pretty much know everything about the game. We're scrapping it, and we're going to start over. Like, and that doesn't even, like, account for everything that's been canceled either.
Oh, true.
The Black Panther game that's supposed to come out, canceled. Whoever runs that, like, area or whatever, that little company, they canceled their whole company. Like, it shut down everything. So everything they were working on,
it's gone.
Black Panther game almost finished. We don't get to see it no more.
Yep.
Like, there's gameplay,
And that's because of
of
leakers.
it. And
Yeah.
That's just because of them.
yeah. And then, so the whole reason why Insomniac restarted the Wolverine game or did something with the Wolverine game, and it's taken a while, is because the leakers grabbed like all of their ideas for like 2030, dude, way ahead of time, like, far.
Oh, so
They-
it's putting out false.
No, they're not putting out.
No, we're not-
That's Insomniac's ideas. They're gonna
Yeah,
make those
but-
games in that time. But the thing is, they took
False
all of it.
expectations, I mean.
No, they
Like
they took it for ransom. They said, "Hey, we're gonna leak all of this if you don't give us this amount of money."
Oh, well,
And-
that's just scummy.
And you know what
Yeah.
Insomniac did? They said, "I don't care, do it," and they leaked it all. They leaked everything for like to 2030, dude. It was insane.
2030, holy.
Yeah, so that cancellation, those leaks, put a stop in the developers' time, and they gotta refix some things because who's gonna want to play a game where they've seen everything already? You know, I mean, I
Yeah.
get it. You still want to play it. But
Yeah, but
you-
like,
you,
but
there's no
when
hype anymore
you
when you know everything that's gonna
Yeah.
happen.
release stuff like that, when changes can still happen and the game is nowhere near done, like I said before, you put false expectations
Mm-hmm.
outward. But when you put those false expectations outward to the people who are going to be buying your game and stuff turns out different, that's where people get angry. It's like ordering a steak and then something happens and they're like, hey, yeah, we got you salmon instead. Yeah, you're going to be pretty mad. But if you knew from the beginning what
salmon.
you were, if you weren't told anything and you were actually given what you ordered, at least at the end, then you weren't
Yeah, you're gonna be pleased
riled
with
up.
what you
Yeah.
have.
Yeah, you're going to be pleased with what you have. And to be fair, I would rather my chef take their time with my food and not rush it. It's the
Right.
same thing with these games. The people on the outside of these companies,
Yeah, and that's why games end up being so buggy because they're on
Exactly.
such a time crunch.
Yeah.
They can't check over everything.
yeah, they can't check over everything, and people don't. Like they literally just don't have the empathy to realize, hey, making
There's
games
humans
is
that
Yeah,
worked on this
games
thing,
is
there's
and it took
humans
a lot of time.
a lot of time.
But they didn't have enough time.
Exactly.
Just like the ET game. That's why it was so bad.
Shut up. We're done talking about ET.
Yeah, but there's still some other stuff about it,
Sure.
Yeah.
But it's ET.
It's ET.
but-
Anyone like ET?
No.
You look like.
ET was the first movie to make me cry. I was
Really?
a- Yeah.
Aw.
I'm not gonna lie, I had to think about it. The first time I've ever cried watching anything was the end of Naruto.
What?
I think we got 3 minutes, guys.
Okay.
I'm saying wrap it up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna check the time real quick.
We were so off track for most of it.
Yeah.
It is 2:08. Yeah.
Yeah, anyways, we took out some time.
Yeah.
What was I gonna say?
We were talking about how people on the outside of Like the,
Right.
the consumer essentially ruins it for themselves and then
Yeah.
blames it on the people who make it.
Because
Yeah.
when the game's buggy like that, they don't give it another chance. They're like, yo, this game sucks.
Yeah,
They-
and
I'm,
then
I'm,
they
I'm
review
leaving
products,
this game. I'm
and then
never gonna buy it
everyone
ever
who
again.
hasn't
I'm not
played
buying
the
from this
game yet
company
gets
ever
this
again.
idea
Like
that
that's
it's
what
the worst
everybody
game
thought
ever.
when Cyberpunk first came out. That yo,
Exactly.
this game sucks. It's buggy. There's everything wrong with it. But then, like a couple years later, when they fixed everything, they were
Everyone
like,
was
"Yo,
like,
this
oh
is
my
actually
God."
fire. This is a good game."
Yeah, it's crazy. And the funny thing is, I believed in it from the start. You know, I have 1,200 hours in Cyberpunk.
That's insane, dude. Go outside.
1,200.
Dude, I can't even blame me for saying that because my most played game is GTA 5. I got that when I was 8 years old. I played it until I was like 15. That has 1,800 hours.
And Cyberpunk is 1,000.
And it's Cyberpunk caught up within 2 years.
But here's the thing too, though. To keep a game floating, there has to be constant updates, constant changes
True.
to make people feel like
There has
hey,
to be
this is still
infinite
new.
opportunities like Minecraft. That's why.
Yeah, that's why that people keep going back to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we should probably finish up. Yeah, but people do go back to that game a lot.
Yeah.
Like there's that.
I think that's what makes a good game.